Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to graph a linear equation using intercepts. And remember, when we talk about intercepts, in the previous lesson, you learned about finding the intercepts, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept that are in graphs. So let's just quickly remind ourselves what that is. So if I look at the x and y axis, and if I have a point that's so I have a graph that crosses the y-axis, let's say, no matter where it crosses the y-axis, and look at these points, remember from the previous lesson that no matter where you are on the y-axis, remember these are called y-intercepts, so no matter where you are on the y-axis, the x-coordinate is 0. All along the y-axis, the x-coordinate is 0. The same thing if you're talking about the the x-intercept. So if you look at each of these points that's on the x-axis, so if you look at the x-intercept, remember no matter where you are on the x-axis, so if you have a point here, remember you go to the right and then you stop, so the y value is 0. You go here, you stop, the y value is 0. You go here, you stop, the y value is 0. So the y-coordinate is 0. Okay? So to graph these lines using intercepts, you're going to do you have to find two things. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find either x-intercept or y-intercept, does not matter. But to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. Okay? To find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. So to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. All right, so let's look at an example. So we're going to graph each of these lines, graph each line by finding intercepts. All right, so graph each line by finding intercepts. Okay, sometimes it will say this, graph each line using the intercept method. Okay, or it could say graph using the intercept method, depending on the textbook. So the intercept method just means the x-intercept, the y-intercept. Don't confuse that with slope-intercept. If it said use the slope-intercept, then it would actually use the word slope in it. So if it says intercept method, they're talking about the intercepts, the x-intercept, the y-intercept. Okay? So let's do number 1. Number 1, we have x plus y is equal to 6. So let's go ahead, first of all, and find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. And so in place of x, you're going to substitute 0. So I get 0 plus y is equal to 6, and 0 combining like terms. Well, first of all, 0 plus y is going to be y. So I found the y-intercept to be 6. As an ordered pair, Now remember from previous courses what we mean by an ordered pair. An ordered pair means a point where the x-coordinate is listed first, the y-coordinate is listed second. So in this case, my ordered pair for the y-intercept, the x-coordinate is 0 and the y-coordinate is 6. And so then all you do is you go to your grid and you plot the point 0, 6. And I've already done that here. So, but remember, you go from the origin, you go up 6 and you stop. So that's the ordered pair 0, 6. Okay? And then to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. So this time y is 0. So I get x plus 0 equals 6, and x plus 0 is x, so I get my x-intercept to be 6. So as an ordered pair, remember x goes first, so the x-coordinate is 6, the y-coordinate is 0. All right, and then you plot that point, 6, 0, so you go to the origin, you go to the right 6, and since y is 0, you stay. So that's 6, 0. And then you just plot, and then you just graph your line. So when I graph that line, I get this. Okay? So that's the graph x plus y equals 6 using intercepts. See the intercepts? Okay? All right. Now, number 2. There was something else I wanted to say here, but if I remember, I'll come back. All right, number 2. Okay, so number 2, we have 2x plus y equal 4. 2x plus y equal 4. So again, you're going to graph this using intercept, using the intercept method. So let's find the y-intercept first. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. So in place of x, you substitute 0. So get 2 times 0 plus y equal 4. And you got to get y by itself. Well, 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus y equal 4. 0 plus y is y, so my y-intercept is 4. As an ordered pair, if they ask you to put this as an ordered pair, you're going to say x first, so x is 0, y is 4. And then to find the y-intercept, x-intercept, you're going to let y equals 0. So to find the y-intercept, you let y equals 0, so you get 2x plus y is 0, equal 4. 2x plus 0 is 2x, and to get x by itself, you divide by 2. So I found the x-intercept to be 4 divided by 2 is 2. As an ordered pair, x, y, so x is 2, y is 0. All right, so let's plot those points. So we're going to plot the point 0, 4, and 2, 0. So 0, 4 is here on the y-axis. The x-intercept, so that's the point on the x-axis where the graph crosses the x-axis, that's 2, 0. So that's here. And remember, label your points. So that is 0, 0, 4, and this is 2, 0. And so when I graph this, I get this line. Okay? Now, let me just say this. So notice I'm doing this by grid paper. If you did it by hand, remember how I want this to look. So let's just do number 2 by hand. So if you do this by hand, this is how number 2 would look on paper by hand. So you do your x and y axis, and then let's see, our points were 0, 4. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, put a dot. So that's your y-intercept. The x-intercept, remember the x-intercept, so your y-intercept was 4. Your x-intercept is 2. So you go 1, 2, put a dot. You're going to have to label it. So you say 0, 4, 2, 0. And then you draw your line. You draw your line. Oops. Okay, so I could have done a better job of drawing the line, but that's okay. All right, so that was number 2. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Number 3, we have 3x minus 2y is equal to a negative 6. So 3x minus 2y equals a negative 6. So again, I want to graph this using the intercept method. So that means you find the intercepts. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. So if x is 0, now I want you to notice something. If x is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, right? So that you can cover this part up, and that's 0 right here. And so really your equation left is negative 2y equals negative 6. All right, but some students prefer to actually substitute 0. So let's say 3 times 0 minus 2y equal negative 6. 3 times 0 is 0, so we get 0 minus 2y equal negative 6. But remember, 0 minus 2y is a negative 2y, and that's equal to negative 6. And that's what I was making a point here. So this term, if x is 0, that term kind of disappears at 0. And so you get negative 2y equal negative 6, which is this right here. So you can go your first step, instead of putting all of this right here, you could just say this. But you got to get y by itself now, so we have to divide both sides by negative 2. And so negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. 1 times y is y. So I found the y-intercept to be a positive, a negative divided by negative is a positive 3. As an ordered pair, they ask you to put this as an ordered pair. Be careful, you got to say x, y. So x is 0, y is 3. And so let's find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. And so this time, remember, if y is 0, that means 2 times 0 is 0, so that goes away right there. So you have 3x equal negative 6. So you can go ahead and put that right here if you want to. If you want to go ahead and substitute the 0 physically, then you say this. You say 3x minus 2 times 0 equal negative 6. 2 times 0 is 0, so we get 3x minus 0 equal negative 6. 3x minus 0 is 3x, so we get 3x equal negative 6. And then divide both sides by 3. I get 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I get the x-intercept to be a negative 2. Okay? All right, so the x-intercept's a negative 2. All right, by hand, if you're going to do this by hand, here's what you would do, which most of you will. So you can do this by hand. So you will say, all right, here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. So the y-intercept is 3, right? So that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. Label it 0, 3. The x-intercept's negative 2. Remember, negative 2, not positive 2, negative 2. So you go on the x-axis to the left. 1, 2, put a dot. So that's negative 2, 0. Make sure the coordinates are listed correctly so you don't lose any points, because everything you write must be mathematically correct. And so then you just draw your line, and you get this. All right, so there's the line. So that is the graph of 3x minus 2y equal negative 6. All right, so that's what you do if you do it by hand. No big deal. All right, just do your little tick marks on your axes so I can see them. All right. Okay, let's look at number 4. Number 4, we have this in number 4. All right, we have 4y equals 2 plus x. 4y equals 2 plus x. All right, so again, you want to graph this using intercepts, using the intercept method. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. All right, and so if x is 0, I get 4y equal 2 plus 0, because x is 0. Well, 2 plus 0 is 2, so I get 4y equal 2. Divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I get my y-intercept to be reduced. This is 1/2. As an ordered pair, you're going to say 0, 1/2. To find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0. So if I let y equal 0 this time, you're going to get 4 times 0 is 0. So 4 times 0 equals 2 plus x. 4 times 0 is 0 equals 2 plus x. Now be careful. This is where you get x by itself, right? So you're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So make sure you're careful with this part. So I get the x-intercept to equal 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 negative 2 is a negative 2. So there's your x-intercept, negative 2. And so then you write this as an ordered pair. So x is negative 2, y is 0. And then you do it by hand if you need to. So by hand, you would do this. This is how we do this by hand. All right, so let's do the y-intercept first. So the y-intercept is 1/2. So it's not a whole number, right? It's not an integer. So what I would do is this. I would do, 1 and then put 1/2 here. That's what I would do. Okay, so make sure the tick marks, you want your tick marks to represent integers. So 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3, 1, -1, -2, -3. Now, I got to be a little bit careful that this was the y-intercept we were looking at, right? So the y-intercept is here. That's the y-intercept. Sorry about that. So that's not it. This is your y-intercept. So let me go ahead and redo this. Let me do this on another page. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's do this one again. So your y-intercept is 1/2. Your x-intercept is -2. All right, so this is going to be, now remember, if it's a fraction, you want your tick marks, you want these little marks here to represent integers. Okay, integers. And try and scale them correctly. It's not, I didn't do a very good job with scaling. But your y-intercept is 1/2. So if this is 1, if this represents 1 right here, this represents 1, this represents 2, then 1/2 is here, right? Right in the middle. Okay? So you can label it 0, 1/2. Your x-intercept, remember, is -2. So here's -1, here's -2, right? And so that's going to represent -2, 0. And then you just draw your line, and there you go. You got your graph. Okay, and that's all you do. All right, and then let's look at number 5. So number 5, we have y equals 3 minus 3x. Y equals 3 minus 3x. So again, you want to graph this using intercepts. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. So wherever we see an x, I'm going to substitute 0. Now remember, this goes away, right? Eventually, so you can get y equals 3. The y-intercept is going to be 3. But let's go ahead and actually do the work. And you don't have to, you can put your thumb over it and just say, well, that's going to be y equal 3. And y is already by itself. So I get y equal 3 minus 3 times 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So I get y equals 3 minus 0, which is 3. So I found the y-intercept to be 3. To find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equals 0. Okay? Now be careful there, because so if you put your thumb over it, you're going to make a mistake with the equal sign. You're not going to know what to go here. But I'm hoping you do. What if you put your thumb over here, what number goes here? Well, that's 0, right? Because that's what you let y equal. Y is 0. So some students actually prefer to actually write it out. So they'll say 0 equals 3 minus 3x. And this is where you got to be careful. So you want to get x by itself, right? Okay, so there are one or two things you can do. You can bring, since that's a 0 here, you can bring the x term to the other side, or you can bring the constant term to the other side. I'm going to make things easier on us. I'm going to bring the x term to the left-hand side. And to do that, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And the reason that that's probably more efficient is because the coefficient of x is positive when I do that. So I get 3x equal 3. And then all you do now is get x by itself, divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I get the x-intercept to be 1. Now, let me just say this. Suppose some of you had done this. Suppose some of you said, let me go ahead and rewrite this over. Suppose some of you said, well, I'm going to bring the 3 over. Okay, no big deal. Do that. Okay, so you get 0 subtract 3 is a -3 equal, this is 0. But remember, that's a -3x. And so to get x by itself, you have to divide both sides by -3. -3 divided by -3 is 1. 1 times x is x. So I get the x-intercept to be, and you got to remember, a negative divided by negative is a positive. 3 divided by 3 is 1. All right, so you get the same thing. Does not matter. Okay, now let's graph it by hand. This is what you do by hand, since most of you have been doing this by hand. Okay, so I'm going to do this by hand. Remember, your y-intercept is 3. So you're going to go, and that's good because those are integers, so they're not any fractional parts. So you go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's your y-intercept. Label it 0, 3. Your x-intercept, 1. Label it 1, 0. And then you draw your line, and you're done. See how simple that is? Just finding the intercepts, not difficult. Okay, and so there's the line. So then you would graph the line. All right, and then number 6, the last one, number 6, we have this. So number 6, we have negative 7y minus 28x equal 56. So negative 7y minus 28x equal 56. All right, so again, you want to use the intercept method. So you want to find the x and y intercepts. So to find the y-intercept, remember that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So remember, no matter where you were, you see the y-intercept? What was the x-coordinate in all these cases? The x-coordinate was 0. So to find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. So in place of x, wherever you see the x, I'm going to substitute 0. Okay, so that's going to be 0 right here. So I get negative 7y minus 28 times 0 equal 56. Negative 28 times 0 is 0, so I get negative 7y equal 56, right? Divide both sides by negative 7. Divide both sides by negative 7. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is 1. 1 times y is y. And then a positive divided by negative is a negative. And then 56 divided by 7. If you need to use your calculator, you do that. Use your calculator if you have to. So 56 divided by 7 gives you negative 8. Because positive divided by negative is a negative. So there's your y-intercept. That's where the graph's going to cross the y-axis. Now, they ask you to write this as an ordered pair, and sometimes they do. As an ordered pair, you're going to say the x-coordinate is first. Well, the x-coordinate was 0, and the y-coordinate is negative 8. All right. Now, to find the x-intercept, this time you're going to let y equals 0. So if I let y equal 0, I get negative 7 times 0, right? Minus 28x equal 56. Well, negative 7 times 0 is 0. So 0 minus 28x is a negative 28x equal 56. And then all you do is get x by itself, and you found the x-intercept. So if I divide both sides by negative 28, I get negative 28 divided by negative 28 is 1. 1 times x is x. And remember, a positive divided by negative is a negative. And then 56 divided by negative 28, you'll get negative 2. Now, if you have a little trouble with that, just say 56 divided by 28 gives you 2, but it's negative 2. So there's your x-intercept. And then let's graph this by hand. Graph this by hand. Here's how you would do this by hand. So remember, let the tick marks on your graphs represent whole number parts. And the good thing is that these are all integers, so you don't have to worry about fractional parts. So my y-intercept's negative 8. So remember, at negative 8, so you're going to go down 8. And see how I always tend to put the x and the y-axis, like the x-axis going through the middle? You don't have to. Since that's since negative 8, the absolute value of that is much bigger than the absolute value of this, you could put the x-axis up here if you want to. All right, especially if you don't have enough room, and I may not. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's negative 8, right? So negative 1, negative 2, and so on. So that's the point here, 0, negative 8. Then the x-intercept's negative 2, so I go to the left, 1, 2. So there's the point here, negative 2, 0. And then all you do is draw your line, and you are done. That's all you do. All right, and so you get this, and there's the graph of that line. Let me move it a little bit up, and that's it. Okay, so that is the lesson on graphing linear equations using intercepts.